It's D-A-R-A.
And what is your position?
I'm a detective at robbery homicide.
How long have you been doing that
But I work.
position? Oh, shoot.
But I work in sexual assault, in a special assault section. It's like an SVU section.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
Well, I've been with the police department for 17 years, but I've been in my current position for 2 years.
Okay. Because of how many years you work, do they expect more from you?
Probably.
What are some obstacles you have faced pursuing your career?
What, do you want the truth? No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Obstacles. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to promote, I guess. That's a long time. So the obstacle for that, I mean, I don't know if it was, I think I was a really hard worker and I was a good candidate, but it seemed really hard to become a detective.
Okay.
And I think maybe it's because I'm female. I'm not sure, who knows.
Did it affect you?
I think when you're female in law enforcement, you have to work twice as hard as a guy to get your positions and do stuff just because your coworkers, they think guys know everything. Did you hear me?
Yes. Did it?
Oh, okay.
Did your obstacle affect you in any way, physically or emotionally?
Did my who?
Did
affect me?
Your obstacles, like the obstacles you faced, did it affect you in any way?
I mean, it's kind of frustrating sometimes, but not really. I'm very, what is that called? I just keep going. I don't really worry about it too much.
Okay. What is one of the biggest challenges as a woman you have faced?
Just really working because in our department there's more guys. So a lot of times they like to work with other guys and they don't really take females seriously. And like if I go to shoot at the range, they always look at the women like, oh, what are you guys doing? And maybe they just pay extra attention to you if you're a female versus if you're a guy, you don't get all that. Kind of like you may not be able to handle your job.
Okay. Throughout your career, have you ever doubted yourself when encountering males?
No.
Good. Okay. Who is your inspiration in becoming what you are today?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably my godmother. She's a strong woman. She's like a single parent of 3 kids. And, she's always taught me that when I was younger and I didn't have a lot of self-esteem, she always taught me that I could do better and I'll be fine and, to keep going ahead, forging ahead.
Okay. How hard was it for you to become a police officer?
The police academy is 6 months. It's a lot of physical activity. And then you take a lot of tests about, the laws that you're going to enforce. So that was pretty strenuous. It's kind of a surprise if you haven't been in the military service or because this police department is military structured. So initially it's kind of like a shock. But it was fine once I got it. Once I got started, you just face one thing at a time, And then I made it through, so that's good.
What about becoming a detective? How hard was it?
Becoming a detective?
Yes.
Well, I think, it was hard because I took a test and didn't pass it the first time. But we don't have a lot of mentoring, or at least at the time that I was becoming a detective, I didn't have a lot of people to talk to about what I need to study or what I need to do. And now that I am a detective, I try to be there for other people when they're trying to study and trying to, make their tests and help them do practice oral exams and go over things that are on the test, because I feel like I didn't really have a lot of support. So it's good now that I am a detective and also I'm a supervisor to kind of lift others up behind you so you can have a really good department.
As a female, do you think it's harder to promote? As you said, it is pretty hard, but how is it hard?
Once you're promoted to a detective, I don't think it's harder or anything, but I don't think it's hard. The test is the same for everybody, if you're a boy a man or a woman. But I just, it just seems like your coworkers look at you like, oh, you're a girl, so you don't know as much, or you're not as strong, or you're not such a good shooter, that kind of thing. But the test is the same. Once you become a detective and you want to promote to be a supervisor, I think the part that's difficult about that is how you get promoted is by taking an oral exam. So you sit in front of a panel of 3 people and you tell them how great you are, and then they're like, oh, okay, we need you to work as a supervisor. And that's kind of it's not a test. So it's the supervisors that interview you that decide if you're good or not. So I think, for me as a female, I think I'm a good detective supervisor now, but I had to take a lot of oral exams, whereas I know some guys that have taken maybe 1, 2 maximum, and they're already detective supervisors. I took 14.
Have you?
So it's just a big difference.
Oh, okay. Have you ever been in a situation where there were men just not downgrading you in a way where they were saying you can't do it because you're a female?
No, nothing blatant like that. Some people act kind of funny, but they don't. I've never heard anything like that. The only time I heard somebody tell me that maybe I wouldn't be that good because I'm a female was when I was on probation, and it was one of my training officers. And his wife was a teacher, and he said women should be teachers.
And last question. Are women capable of doing the work men can do in law enforcement?
I think they're better.
Okay.
I think they're better because they're calm and will make decisions kind of with less testosterone, so you're not so hyper and excited, or if somebody pisses you off, we don't react the same way.